Thank you. Thank you.
I love that.
That's how I start my day.
On this episode of Jen and Friends,
Mhm.
how important does the role of joy play in being a parent? We explore an age-old adage with Mario Valencia.
I take deep breaths sometimes.
I still do, and mine is 21. Mario answers the big questions about joy and are you happy? A community leader with a passion for healthy living and a positive mindset. That's why I find you so inspirational. I hope you enjoy our conversation as much as we have.
I knew you were going to ask this question, and I was thinking about this question in a positive way, of course.
Mario, hey!
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I am so excited to
Me
see you
too.
today and talk to you. Thank you so much.
Hey, you look good. You look really good.
Thank you. You look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm working on it. I'm trying.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
So last time I interviewed you, it was for that little blog piece that we did. It was almost 10 years ago. Can you believe that?
No,
Isn't that crazy?
that is crazy.
Totally crazy.
Yeah,
So
that seems like a lifetime.
I know. And so much has happened since then, too.
For sure.
Nearly 10 years ago, I met Mario when he reached out about replacing a torn American flag. It was located in the hills behind the Elliott gas station. We partnered up, and Mario replaced the flags on Estrella Hills.
But I love Estrella. I love Estrella. I plan because I'm training for Ironman again.
You
And
are? Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna do Cozumel, and I want to go back out there and train because that's where I trained for Ironman was in Tempe, was up there in Estrella.
Okay.
My bikes, my runs was all up there. I loved it.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
my daughter went through all the schools up here, and she went to.
She's doing amazing, Mom.
I know.
Good job.
I'm so proud of her.
Look, yeah, give yourself, yeah. Well, she's doing the work, of course. Got to give her that, but that I'm sure a lot of that comes from your influence. So good job.
Yeah, just stay on them. Stay on them. Okay, let's talk about when you were in high school, you played football.
I did.
And your dad was in the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And your uncle had passed away in the Vietnam War.
Yes.
Okay, how did you decide to go into the Air Force?
To be honest, it wasn't really the Air Force. It wasn't my first choice, to be honest. It was the Marine Corps because, my dad was in the Corps, but my grandfather was in the Army Air Corps. So we grew up a very patriotic family, always have been and still are, right? So I sort of felt like it was my duty to be of service to my country, just like, my grandfather did and my uncle did and my dad did. So I feel like it was the right thing to do. And I know it sounds crazy, but they called me up, I'd be gone in a second. I mean, I have kids. I'd have to give me a second to think about it, but I would definitely want. All right.
Well, thank you for your service.
Of course.
Thank you. It was really interesting years ago when the traveling wall came up here to Estrella. I was so my dad was in Vietnam, and I went out and I helped read the names for a couple of hours, and I took a photo that day, a pair of boots that had medals in them.
Yeah.
And I found out later those were yours.
They were. They were. I donated them. I just kind of, I think what happened to me when with my experience when I came home was I identified myself for many years, and I'm only speaking for myself, as a victim of what occurred. And I allowed that to get in the way of living the way I should have been living for 25 years, for
Mhm.
25 years. And I think that was kind of like part of the first step. I put it right under my uncle's name, who's on that wall. I
Wow.
put it right by him. And I was like, it's time for me to just take a step back. I'm allowed to enjoy myself while I'm here. You know what I mean?
True.
Like I'm allowed to, like it's okay. I did my time and now it's time to enjoy what I have available. So
And you were in Desert Storm, correct?
yeah, so the Air Force, uh, our bases are outside of the war zones, right? So we're in support.
Okay.
So yeah, so my experience was in Saudi Arabia in support of Operation Desert Storm.
Okay.
I
And
think
you've
I
been
said
all
that
over
right.
the world, right? I mean, you've been to several different countries and locations.
Yeah, personal and military. I've learned a lot from that. How big the world is, you know, your way, it doesn't mean it's necessarily the right way. You know what I mean? And look how happier some of these simpler lifestyles are.
Yeah.
Just I think it educates you in a way that is different when you meet people, especially when you drop down barriers and you start speaking to people and asking them their story. You really start to realize that we're all here having our own experience one way or another.
That's so
We're
true. I mean, and not even just from your past experience, but gosh, that can hold true for everything we're going through in the world today.
every yes, yes, for sure.
I think it
Um,
really comes down to just understanding people, talking with people, trying to
mhm.
take off your own blinders is so, so important.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Well, the thing is, your topic, I put down on my notes was, joy is a choice.
You have to be intentional about joy, right?
Yes, yes. It doesn't it's like my weight loss journey, same thing. You know what I mean? I personally, I mean, and it's proven already that everything is mental, everything is psychological. Um, and once we clean up that inner conversation, right, we have 70,000, approximately 70,000 thoughts a day. And some of those are not good thoughts. And I believe that what happens is that people start to identify and pay attention and listen and to those thoughts, and then they believe those to be their identity and reality. Identify as that person who thinks those thoughts. It's not necessarily you. It's a balance. You have to decide what are you going to choose to identify with, and how are you going to choose to live your experience here. Because I got to the point that I realized when I heard this quote, and it was by Seneca. He said, "We suffer more often in imagination than we do in reality." And when I heard that, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me right now." You know what I mean? I was like,
Absolutely.
it's just like that. I was like, so all I have to do is really focus on, and how do I do that? And for me, I feel I have figured out how to do that, and that's through exposure.
Let me ask you this. Are you happy?
I feel like I'm the happiest I've been in a very long time.
Do you feel that happiness and joy are the same thing or are they two different things?
Um, I think, to be honest, I sort of feel like they're the same. I feel like they're the same,
Why?
because when I'm with my kids, when I'm with my family, when I'm with my, partner, even now, I'm so grateful now because I practice gratitude and I respect them for who they are. I'm so grateful and joyous that they're here. I'm just glad you're here because I know what it's like as a vet to see people just come and go like that. Well, and by the time you're 49, you know what that feels like already. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So if we lived a life understanding and stop pretending that we live forever and realize that no one's getting out of here alive, how we choose to go and reflect back on is a choice. It's a choice. So now I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not going to say that I was given this gift of life anymore and play a victim of anything outside of my control. I'm going to live my life true to myself. I'm going to express and create the way we're supposed to. You know, I'm going to speak positive. I'm going to act positive, and I'm going to accept all the positive that is meant for me and meant for everyone here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's why I find you so inspirational. I've been watching what you've done, not only with your weight loss journey, but your health journey. Uh,
Yeah, it's hard.
what you've done in your life and your career, and then the positivity you put back out into your community. It's what motivates you to get out of bed in the morning?
Um, here's the thing is that I stopped waking up doing this. Oh, I don't do that anymore because if I have, because here's the thing is that the way I started changing things is I started practicing gratitude first, right off the bat, right off the
Is
bat.
that how you start your day? Do you
Yep.
start your day? What is
As
your
soon,
morning routine?
my morning routine is I wake up at 4 a.m. almost every day. And I do that because I meditate and I started at 5 minutes at a time. And mind you, it's technology free. Because if you want to be disconnected from yourself, your true self, your inner self, right? Your spirit, yourself, the part that whispers all the answers that you need in your life. If you disconnect by grabbing that phone, it's taking attention away from you, period. So as soon as I learned that, I was like, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and I sit in complete darkness because I accept darkness for its beauty too. See what I mean? I've been to my darkest place. I accept that. I know it's there and it's not a bad thing. It's also a thing that keeps me safe. And I allow myself to think and I get the answers I need in that quiet, in that silence. And then I slowly go about my day.
In speaking with Mario, I was reminded of this wise young boy and his theory about the practice of joy.
So my question to you today is, what do you practice every day? What do you practice? Because what you practice, you will get good at. What do you practice? Do you practice joy in your life? Do you practice peace in your life? Do you practice happiness in your life? Or do you practice a lot of complaining?
Relieving to be practicing, like that young boy said. I'm glad he said practicing.
What do you practice? Do you practice anger? Because if you practice anger, you will get very good at it. And you will get so good at it that the most trivial you'll think, trivial thing, will make you angry.
My husband and I were talking um, a while ago. As you know, my dad died, and we were talking
Sorry
about
about
happiness and joy and what is the difference. And so I do think there's a difference between happiness and joy. I feel
Yeah,
happiness is this.
yeah, for
If
sure.
you asked me yesterday, I would have told you hour by hour, am I happy? Yes. Am I happy? No. Maybe, kind of. The
Yeah.
joy for me is a constant.
Hmm.
It's because I am so grateful for everything that I have in my life.
Hmm.
I can always just stop and breathe and pause and think about, okay, this is my reality right here. Nothing's happening to me.
Here's how you said that you made the key, that you said it. Nothing's happening to you. So one of the things I explain to people, especially when they're stressed, but I practice it myself, especially during stressful times, is the ability to disconnect yourself from everything that's going on and realize that life isn't happening to you. It's happening around you. And your thoughts about it are more than likely wrong, and you'll be okay, and everything will be fine. And then once you decide just to take one of them and work on that, you'll be okay. The next one on that, you'll be okay. But the ability to just disconnect a bit.
That's true. I love that.
Mhm. You're not gonna, here's the thing, you're not a, my thing is that I refuse to be a victim of my own life anymore. Do you see what I mean? And I think a lot of people are, they feel like they're a victim of their own life by complaining and blah blah blah, and always finding wrong and negative thoughts, negative comments. And if you're living like that, you're hurting yourself.
Those are the people that are practicing worry. They're practicing negativity.
Yes, exactly, just like that video. And that kid is right. That kid
Absolutely.
is right.
Yes.
So I propose, if this is true that it's a question of practice, then I propose we practice joy.
I wake up with the first words that come out of my mouth are thank you for today. I appreciate today. Today's a good day. I love today. I'm grateful I have food. I'm grateful I have water. I'm grateful I have a roof. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful I can breathe. Thank you.
I love,
Thank you.
I love
And
that.
that's how I start my day. And I only expect good to come my way, because that's all I'm going to put out from now on. Even not expecting good to come my way, just say, this is who I am as a person. This is how I am as a person. This is how I want to go. When I close my eyes and take my last breath, I'm going to reflect back and say, this is the person I am, and this is the person you showed your kids you should try to be as a human being. And I have to work at that. But it's a choice, just like joy, just like happiness, just like being with my kids. It's a choice, and it's work, and it's hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm practicing every day. I'm making mistakes. I'm failing, and I'm picking myself up and saying, I'm just going to see what happens. It's relieving to be at a mindset that allows me to enjoy my day, my process throughout the day, every day, with all the fault that's in it, and just complete acceptance and say, there are things I can and cannot control. And I'm not going to waste my time on things that I cannot control, because those things are not going to put me in a negative state of mind that takes away from the beauty of my day and my time throughout the day, because my time is a gift now. I respect my time.
Can you feel your positivity rub off on others? Can you feel that you're spreading it?
No, because I think people can also sense insecurity still. They can still sense fear. They can still sense some of that anger for my experiences, right? Because I feel anger comes with, things that have occurred to you and not being able to manage them, which is something else that I work on. All these things, I'm like, how can I fix that? And how can I fix that? And just get better as a person, as a parent, and as a person in society. So,
Let's talk about being a dad. How
mhm.
important does the role of joy play in being a parent?
I take deep breaths sometimes.
I still do, and mine is 21.
Right. Well, there's a couple breathing techniques, and I need to dive into that as one of my therapies, because I do believe it. I think it's very important. Yeah. So when it comes to joy and being a father, the first thing for me to figure out is, through my experiences and through the issues that I'm struggling with, where am I going to do, or what am I going to do for me? Self-care, self-love, and my experience as a parent that brings me joy so they can see me enjoy. What am I going to do? Because a lot of people say, buy me this, buy me that, or do that. But over consumerism is taking away because it's instant gratification and it doesn't last long. It's not long term. It's temporary.
You know what is so funny? I came upon a video. A woman was talking about um, satisfaction. It's like the potato chip theory. You can open up a bag of potato chips, dig in, and you're just never satisfied. You can eat and eat and eat. Whereas, like a steak, you eat it, you're satisfied. And it comes same thing as social media.
Yes.
You can sit there and scroll all day long. You will
Yep.
never be satisfied.
I'll give you a prime example, and it occurred yesterday. Is for a minute, I started feeling, because I'm trying to break away from a society itself and how they view themselves in the world. And I started becoming one of them when I was walking to visit my parents at Costco. And my son just went like this with open arms and a smile on his face. And he was like, "Hey, Papa, and I love you." And my daughter's like, "Love you." And I went to grab my phone. And because I was able to hear my inner self whisper say, "Put that phone away and enjoy this moment right now." The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. When I read that book changed my life. I was like, let me wrap my head around this right now. But it opened up my eyes. Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
The Alchemist, amazing. Those are all books. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly, perfectly. He said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. It's like that. So I need to manage in here.
Do you consider yourself religious or spiritual? What do you consider yourself?
I knew you were going to ask this question, and I was thinking about this question in a positive way, of course. Yes. Okay. To me, I feel like we are all an experience. We are all spirit. We are all the light. We live forever. You know, we are energy. We are spirit. We are growing through faults, negative, and we're not going to get out of here without any bumps and bruises. Here's the thing. I truly believe that heaven is right here. It's right here. I feel it's here. It's on this planet. It's in the plants, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the land. If we touch the ground and feel, you know, we all have ancestors in this land, in this soil, buried here. We should respect it more. If we all had access to clean air, water, and food, just think what our health would be.
How did you decide on robeks? And first of all, I have to say my husband is a huge robeks fan. Like it's the thing. How did you find robeks?
I started, that's when I was about 260. Okay. I was probably, well, last time I got on that schedule, because you know we don't like that scale, you know, that dang thing. But I started to instead of have my normal breakfast, I started stopping at Robeks and grabbing a smoothie and a lemon ginger shot. And I noticed that I just started losing the weight that started coming off. And then I started, you know, just kind of fine tuning my what I do eat. And I still have my sugar. I love my sugar. I know that's probably my downfall, but you know, it became a part of my routine, and that's why when we decided that we were, unfortunately, when we were in the beginning, we were looking outside, thinking, well, let's try a little bit less of like frozen yogurt, do something a little bit natural. And we tried some of the others, but we didn't get the flavor and the taste and what we really wanted. And then when we went to, and then we looked at each other, I'm like, it's in our backyard and we're always there. and they have everything we want, frozen yogurt or not. They have everything we need. So, and that's what I want to expose my children to, and it seems like a good investment, and I believe that it is.
Awesome. Mario has kickstarted a new nonprofit called Unity in Bridges. It's a community focused organization nurturing the future through organic gardening and ecosystem education. His calendar is packed with vibrant, health centric activities.
So all my races, I'm working with natural organic farms to start making that available out there. I'm trying to do farmers markets and just say, hey, let me try it here. And if this works, I can do it there and there and there. And just start changing things up, investing in environment and health and nutrition education, financial education,
That's huge.
things
Financial
like that.
education is huge.
Financial education is huge. We should be teaching that to our children from the time they learn how to do math, how to make money, a proper work ethic, right? How to interview, but also how to view their vision and their goals of what make them happy for who they are and how they choose to express themselves, and not how us parents or society wants us to live. The financial health is part of your mental health. It's part of your mental health
Well,
because it
it
affects
affects
you
you.
in
It
a
affects,
mental way completely your
oh,
whole
absolutely.
life. You're from the time you start taking on financial responsibility to the time you die, you have to think about your financial health. And we're not teaching them that in schools, and it drives me crazy. And I wish they would. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, well, wait a minute, it's not the school's responsibility for them to teach my kids what I want them to know. So as soon as my kids figure out their math, guess what? Because I have 6-year-old twins, um, I plan on teaching them. Here's work ethic. This is money. You want to save a certain percent before you start spending a certain percent. You want to invest a certain percent before you spend that percent. You want to donate something, be of service to others. You want to self care, self manage yourself. And that financial part is part of it altogether.
It
Financial,
really is. It really
nutrition,
is.
all of it.
Yeah. Um, I raised my daughter, and most important thing was I wanted her to know the value of working hard, that work
For sure.
ethic, and really being involved in the community, helping others, doing whatever it is that you need to do, because your whole life you're going to come across different kinds of people, you're going to be
Yeah.
coming across different kinds of situations, but if you
Yeah.
have the basic knowledge of working hard, you're going to be okay. If you know
Yeah.
how to get through that and you know how to communicate with other people, it's so very important.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, so now we're going to do Mario's advice on a couple of topics.
Mm.
Okay, Mario's advice. What is the first step to getting healthy? What is the first thing you need to do if you want to start that journey in your life?
Mm. It's not with food. We put it on the food, but it's not the food. It's how do you want to feel after you eat? Did it come from the earth? Was it already here? How well has it been taken care of? How did it feel before it died? I don't eat that stuff. I eat the stuff that was already here. But it's also how do I want to feel after I eat? And that's why I believe in the robeks. It says, um, you know, robeks is happiness. We bring happiness to the community, and you get them with the smoothies, but that true happiness comes from your self-care and self-love, right?
Yes.
And what you decide to eat is a choice.
Okay,
Whenever I go in there, I can give
Mario's
myself
advice. What is the first step to finding joy?
practice being in your present moment with gratitude. Because the only thing you have control of at the end of the day is your now. It's your right now. And how you choose to live your now. See, we pretend like we can control 5 minutes ago, but we can't. That's why there's a bunch of things going on and people are upset. But you can't control what happens 5 minutes from now. You can control what you do right now and how you're going to live it. But remember, 5 minutes from now isn't guaranteed. How are you going to live it? When you close your eyes, how are you going to live it? What are you going to reflect on?
What is something that you would really like to share with people? What would you like to say?
Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Learn to love who you are with all the flaws that come with it, all the mistakes, all the things that come with it. Just allow it to be. And then start doing things that give you joy and do them. Step outside your comfort zone. Your job to be here is to experience and explore and live and love. But it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be bumpy. That's all right. That's okay. But enjoy your journey. Enjoy your journey. Anything negative that doesn't bring you joy, don't allow it into your space.
Well, I love that. And you know what? I have so much gratitude in my life. I'm grateful for our friendship. And I know we don't get to see
Likewise,
each other that
likewise.
much, but I love following you and seeing how you've done.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you know what? You're doing amazing too. I'm telling you, keep it up.
Okay, I will. You're my inspiration.
Hey, likewise.
Give those kids a big hug.
For sure. For
Just
sure. We'll
love
do.
on them.
All right. Definitely.
Thank you, Mario.
And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.